Jessica Craig here. Just trying to answer your question about making the project post live. Which project post? Because it looks like there's quite a few projects here that are drafts. So you've been very busy. Yeah, all of these are drafts. Everything I'm looking at here is a draft. So, first of all, let's have a look at one of them, just so I know where we're at. Garden Square. Wow, great work. This is super good for the website's health to add new content like this. Um, I want to show you some tricks. So let's go in and, oh, sorry, hang on. Just a sec. Oh, there we go. Now I do have internet. Sorry. Here we go. So edit post. And so over here, we can see that it is, or we knew that it was a draft. If we go into not publish, sorry, status, so we can see it's a draft. Yeah, it's cool to publish because it looks fine to me. But if you want to show the team first, try the password protection and see if that's helpful. Say capital RWS. Okay, and then press publish. That way you can show people, and you can do this to all the posts, and all they need to do then is put in a password and they'll be able to see it. So they type in RWS in capitals and press enter, and then they can have a look at it. Now, let's have a look at this in a few other ways. First of all, let's have a look at the mobile versions as well as laptop and stuff. Just bear with me. Okay. And again, we'll need to put in that password, capital RWS. And that looks really good too. The thing about the when you're doing the full screen image underneath the header, you can see here that the margin, there's still a bit of black behind the logo at the top. It's a very small thing, but let's, now where's the rest of my page? I think, sorry, I'm just going to fiddle with my internet wires. Yeah, so I'll show you that and why that's there. But we don't have that problem on the iPad, and we don't have that problem on the laptop. What we do have, I think this could be improved, the space between the text here and the photo. But you know what? It looks really great. And just having that new content in there will really help with the website health. So let's show you a couple of things that might help you with designing this page. We'll go in and edit it with Elementor and have a look at a couple of things, including the screen size. And let's have a look at the images too, because it looks like you're processing these images yourself. Let's have a look at the image. I might be able to give some tips there. Yes, I can. Okay. So, this image is 833 kilobytes. And I could put software in here that would optimize this and bring the kilobyte size down to under 400, which again helps the health of the website. Google likes fast, responsive websites, and I'm going to show you a better way to do images. So first of all, we'll grab that image, and note that the image is called DJI 069 scaled. The file name can be improved too, and this will help with the SEO. So first of all, I'm just going to save this onto my desktop, and then we'll open up Photoshop and open up that photo, the DJI photo. Where was it? I thought I'd put it onto my desktop. Oh, there it is. There. Okay. Now, the quality of the photo is fine. I won't go into showing you how we could make the photo better. What I am seeing, they're just birds. I guess we'll leave the birds there. They look like black dots, but could be a UFO. Anyway, sorry, just being silly. Now, we go to the image size. I recommend the widest that you need for an image is 2048. Okay. So that's the width. 2048 is fine for edge to edge. It's not 4K, but it's a good kind of medium point. Now let's have a look at the page again. Sorry, wrong one. Let's have a look at this page again of where this image goes. It's called Garden Square. Do we know much more about it other than Garden Square? It permits earthworks, topsoil management, bulk excavation, concrete sleeper retaining walls. Okay, that's one of the ones that you want to rank for. Concrete sleeper retaining walls. And it's green Garden Square. Okay, so we go back to Photoshop. Now I'm going to save this image as a WebP. WebP image. WebP is better than JPEG. It's more modern. Google prefers it. So I'm going to call this image Garden Square Project Installation of Concrete Sleeper Retaining Walls. Okay, and I'll save that onto my desktop. And we'll go back into the browser, and with this photo now, which is the background of this container over here, we will get rid of that, and we will add, you've done it as a gallery as well, but it shouldn't be a gallery because there's only one photo in there, so it really just should be a classic image. Galleries are when you've got more than one photo. So then we select that from the desktop, and there's our WebP image. It's now 249 kilobytes, so less than half the size. Okay, and also the advantage was, notice that when I saved the file, I saved it with spaces, not dashes. But then when the photo got uploaded, it replaces the spaces with dashes. That's because all links on the internet don't contain spaces, okay? They're either dashes or underscores. And when I say all links, everything on the internet is a link. So if I copy the URL of this photo to the clipboard and paste it in, and paste it into the URL window. Sorry, just a sec. It's not doing what I said it was doing. One moment. I'll copy the URL to the clipboard. Make a new window there. It didn't copy the whole URL, the stupid thing. Okay, I have to manually go in. Sorry, this is just a bug in the system. That is the proper URL. Okay, so note that it starts off with your domain name, and then bloody bloody blah, and then the actual file name. There's the actual file name of the WebP image. All right, so there's two advantages with uploading it with spaces. One is that you can just simply copy and paste this title into alt text. And now that is just about everything done right in terms of images on the website, in terms of file size, and also in terms of SEO. Because when it comes to image file names, there's a good and bad way to do it when it comes to SEO. And you can read all about it in the different SEO software out there that do blogging on best recommendations. Recommend to keep your image name short and crisp. 5 words, it reckons. I actually prefer 12 words myself, but it might have its reasons. If you want to read more about it, go in there, and you might even be able to teach me more about it. But what I've found is that most designers don't do this, right? Because it takes extra time. And the client never knows. The client doesn't know if you called that image DGI 069 or if you called it Garden Square Project Installation of Concrete Sleeper Retaining Walls. But the fact is that the extra effort that you put into this results in more people visiting the website for the search terms that you want them to. So, concrete sleeper retaining walls. Once Google finds this image, it puts it into the database. So when people type in concrete sleeper retaining wall, there's a much better chance that we'll... Oh, here we go. Look at this. That's retain. I got excited for a moment. I thought it was retaining wall systems. My bad. I would love to see retaining wall systems on page 1 for that. And if we keep doing these little SEO tricks over time, eventually we'll get there. But it's not just search results. Like, people forget there's other things that people search for. They might want to see an image on this. And how would Google even know that it was a concrete sleeper retaining wall unless we told Google that it was? And the easiest way to tell Google what something is by naming the file in a correct way. And then if you want to go the full distance, then you can copy that description into the alt text, which is mainly, alt text is mainly there for people who are blind, so they can read a photo and know what it is. But it's also so Google knows what it is, so Google knows what the photo is. You know, and obviously with AI, it's getting better and better at working out what a photo actually is. But we can actually tell it and then get more bonus points from that. So I hope that little tip on photos was helpful. And by the way, I do have a freelancer that will process images for me, if that's of any help. And he's on a pretty cheap hourly rate. So some of my clients send me a zip folder filled with images, and we optimize them into WebP and give them SEO-rich file names as a service, if that helps anyone. Now, I notice there's a blank container here, and it's got a divider in there. That's one way to do it. And I think it's pretty cool that you've explored Elementor and you've come up with that design solution to create some space. But I want to show you another way to do it that's a lot easier. And that is just to simply put in either margin or padding. Now, I'll start with margin. I'll turn off that link tool and I'll put in, say, 50 at the top. The only thing that you need to be aware of when we do that is we've got this breakpoint here. Sometimes you've got to check the breakpoints that it grabbed that 50 at the top. This one probably would look good with 50 at the top too, but you designed this page, so I'm not going to change that. What I will change is this. The reason why is because the less clutter we can, or the more clutter we can get rid of, the better off we are. So I'm just going to put 50 pixels at the bottom of that and just check. Yep, so we just got to double check sometimes on that, especially that breakpoint at the top, that there's actually 50 pixels at the bottom. And if you use your margin and padding, it'll make life a lot simpler. There's less clutter here in our structure in terms of containers and everything. And then that top container, that's done very well with the heading. The way you've done that's very good. That's exactly how I would do it. Okay. And now we talked about that black space. So I'm going to get into a little bit of advanced stuff here because I want you to understand what's going on when we saw that black spot there. Okay, so first of all, what we'll do is we'll have a look at the page again from the front. Just bear with me. I hadn't published the page, that's why we're not seeing that photo. But the thing is, this is where I wanted to go anyway. I wanted to go to the header, because I think what we do is we'll put in some settings in here that will make our life a bit easier going forward. So let's just have a look. So our heading is simple. It's got the hamburger on the right. It's got the logo on the left. And on widescreen, which we can't quite see unless I shrink my screen, right? That's the widescreen. It's just out of view a bit, but that's because I've reduced this window for the sake of this video. What I wanted to have a look at was the minimum height. Now it says pixels, but yeah, we could use pixels. I'm gonna actually go to vertical height, and I'll show you why. We'll start with a vertical height of 15. No, we'll start with a vertical height of 20, and then from there we will. Now vertical height means the actual height of the view screen. Okay, so 100 is the full height of the screen, and I'm just trying to work out what vertical height is the minimum for that box. It is actually 15. When I go to, because if I go to 16, it jumps up a bit. Okay, so this is just to remember that the header on the widescreen and on the desktop, let's change that from pixels to vertical height, and I'll show you why in a moment. Make that 15. And vertical, and now it's cascading down, so it's inheriting the values. So so I don't need to update it now, because we can see vertical height is 15, vertical height is 15. Let's just see if it is actually 15 when we get down to there, though. Yeah, 15 will work well for that. Even if I went down to 14, that would work, but I don't want to get too fiddly. We'll just keep it all 15, even for the mobile on the side. And then when we get to mobile view, the responsive settings, and by the way, if you haven't seen them before, they're under the advanced menu under responsive. Note that top container is set to hide, and now instead we have this container. And oh, actually, pixels might be better. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go back to pixels. And I'll explain why. Actually, sorry. I'm in two minds here about this. So this container, at the moment, it's minus 220 pixels. And we don't have vertical height as the... Okay, we will have to use pixels. I'm so sorry. We've got vertical width for the margin there, confusingly, but we don't have access to vertical height. All right, my bad. I'm sorry for wasting your time there. I'm just going to go back to the start here and convert this back into pixels for the minimum height. So the minimum height in pixels, let's make it, that looks like about 300. No, 200. No, it's less than that. So we go back to about there. Let's go 150 pixels. All right. Now you don't need to see. I'm just going to go through all of these again, so that there's a minimum height which is just slightly bigger than what it is. Sorry to take you down this rabbit hole. Okay, so I've made the height of the container 150 pixels for everything except for mobile. That's 250. Now this hopefully will make a little bit more sense to you. So this main container here, it's minus 220 at the moment, but we know that we made the header 150. So we can go minus 155. And if it gives you grief, just type in 155 first and then go back and put in the minus. And we're missing that photo there. I'll just put that back in. Again, it's got to do with that breakpoint. Sometimes when you put the photo in on the desktop version, it doesn't go in there for widescreen. It's just that little annoying thing. You need to double check those two breakpoint settings. Okay, so what have we got again? We went minus 155. Just to be safe, we added an extra 5 pixels. And now we can do the same for, and once again, I'll just check that photo for some reason. Needs to be selected. And the margin is 155 pixels. Same for that one. Same for that one. Oh, now we've got a problem with that photo, sorry. I noticed another setting that I hadn't turned on, which needs to be turned on. Image resolution's full, position is center. We'll set it to scroll, no repeat, and display size cover. Now we'll probably have to do the same for this breakpoint. We'll go center, we'll go scroll, no repeat, and the display size is cover. Okay, we should be good on this one. Scroll, no repeat, cover. Yes, now it's inheriting the settings, and we've got a margin of minus 155. Okay. It's inherited the settings, good. It's inherited the settings, good. It's inherited the settings, good. And then finally on this one, instead of minus 155, we're going to go minus 255. And press publish. All right. Just wait for that to update. Now it's published. We can go to the front. Oh no, I want to go to the dashboard. I want to just flush that cache just to be on the safe side, because we've made quite a few changes now. So that little diamond thing, sometimes it doesn't come up and you need to go to the dashboard to see the diamond so that you can purge all the cache. Now we'll go back to our responsive viewer and let's make sure that little black line goes away at the top of the page. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Now, I feel really bad that I wasted your time on that vertical height, so I'll just show you one last thing. What we've done now is we've positioned that top container just so it's sitting behind the header. And as we can see, it's looking nice and clean and neat now. I just to finish off, just so I didn't waste your time talking about vertical height, I want to show you that you do have the option, if you wanted to, you could make that banner image there, you could make that occupy the whole page. Okay, and you do that by going to layout, vertical height 100, and just so you can see what we're doing, if we go to desktop, it's currently set at 70. We could set that to 100, and now we know that's going to occupy the full page. However, when it occupies the full page, right, some people might not know to scroll down. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do an anchor. What we'll do is we will add an icon underneath Garden Square. Okay, now the icon's gone to the side of Garden Square, and that's because the container is set in a direction to go across, and instead we'll set it to go down. Now, when I do that, it throws all of our design out, and that's because this main container has the align items over like so. So we get rid of that so that it starts on the left, and we can also justify the content so it finishes at the bottom, like so. Now, where is our icon? There's our icon. And what we'll do with our icon is we'll make it go over to the left, and we'll choose an arrow, and we'll use, you can choose whichever arrow you prefer. I'm going to choose this one for now. And then we can choose a color, and that primary color, we can use that orange theme color, perhaps would be a good one. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create our anchor text. We'll do that by selecting the next container down, the second container, going to the advanced menu and putting in an ID. And we'll just put in a short ID of project. Okay. And then on the icon, what we'll do under the content, we'll put in a hash because it's an ID, and the ID is project, and that will link to the box below it. So let's just have a look at that. Wait for it to save, and then preview the page. So what we'll have now is a full banner, like so, and then an arrow, and if you click on the arrow, it takes you down to here. Now, you might not like that, and so it's quite easy to change. The way you would change that is you just go into Edit with Elementor, and you would delete that icon just by going here, delete, so the icon's gone. And then all you need to do is revert the minimum height on 2 breakpoints, take it back to how it was, which would be 70 on the desktop breakpoint, and on the widescreen breakpoint, also bring that down to 70. And that way people can then see there's something below the picture, and that will lead them to naturally scroll anyway. It's kind of up to you which design you prefer. I quite like the big full screen. I'll show you where I'm using that a bit at the moment. Apollo Engineering, been doing a lot of work for them. We're completely rebuilding this website at the moment. However, some of the latest news pages that I've made show exactly what I'm talking about. So, oh no, not that one. Not the ultimate guide. It's another one, sorry. Choosing the right Apollo. Sorry. I think it's in the other Apollo website that we're building, sorry. Yes, it's here under news. Okay. Yep, this is an example of a full pager. And it's got particles in the background. And there's the icon, and you click on that and it goes down there. We've got a chat bot. I'm still improving the chat bot, and this website will actually speak to you. But enough of that. Let's get back onto your one. Um, I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. You understand how to password protect it to show the team now. Um, and then when it goes live, you've done it the right way. You've called it. Um, you've made it a post and you've put it under the category of projects. So it will actually appear on the projects page as soon as here's a problem. Protected Garden Square. Glad we looked at that. Okay, so what we'll need to do, just temporarily, all the other ones don't appear there because you've done them as a draft, but this is actually published now but password protected. So I actually have to turn off the category so that that page isn't messy until such times until it is approved. So what we'll do is we'll turn off that category of projects just temporarily. And then once it's approved, you go back in there and turn that category of projects back on. So let's just double check that. Go back to our projects. And yes, that's all nice and clean now. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. Sorry for the rabbit hole. Hopefully I brought lots of good information to the party to make up for it. Okay, hope you're having a good day. Bye.